I want to talk about something that is very common with people who lose weight. It's something I call the weight loss relapse. It's exactly what it sounds like. People who lose a lot of weight, like myself, will have one, if not multiple, weight relapses throughout their journey. It's very, very common, and it's something that, if it happens, you don't want to beat yourself up over it. It's normal. I've had probably probably three of these throughout my journey. In case anyone's curious what it means you've been very, very good on your diet, you've been good on your exercise, you're feeling great. Maybe something happens. Maybe you miss the gym one day, or you eat poorly one day, and then it spirals. And before you know it, you're not as fit. Maybe you've been out of the gym for a month now, or a couple weeks now, and you've gained maybe 10 to 15 pounds back. And it's a lot easier than it sounds. And I find that it's a lot easier for people who have lost a lot of weight. You know, someone who is 140 pounds isn't going to put on 20 pounds just like that. But maybe somebody who was at one point 300 pounds and got down to like 200 pounds could very, very easily jump back up to 230 pounds without really having to change much. But what happens with people who have lost weight is that they start to feel guilty about it. They start to feel like they're a failure. They start to feel like they have let people down maybe. If it's a story that they've shared with other people, and those people have either encouraged them or maybe even said that they were inspired themselves to change, and then all of a sudden they've gained 15 pounds back and they aren't in the gym anymore, they start to feel bad. I've gained 20 pounds back at one point. Heck, I've gained 30 pounds back at one point, and I just felt so guilty. I kind of felt like I let people down. I didn't want to accept it. I stopped going outside because I felt embarrassed. I missed friends' graduation parties and all of these things just because I felt like shit about myself. I was so focused on my weight loss journey for so long that to have gained some of the weight back, I kind of felt like I wasn't the same person anymore. I felt like I was entirely identified by this achievement. And this achievement was completely ruling who I perceived myself to be. And this wasn't healthy. While it's possibly true to some degree, it's not a healthy mentality. Because what happens is you get stuck. You don't want to admit that you've gained the weight, or maybe you're admitting it but you're embarrassed and so you don't want to go back into the gym because you don't want people to see that you've relapsed. You don't want people to see that because you're embarrassed. But the biggest thing is, yes, you are going to be embarrassed. Yes, you might feel bad, but how many people do you really think are going to care? You're going to walk into that gym, people might notice, no one's going to comment, nobody will think lesser of you. Give it 2 weeks of being back in the gym, just 2 weeks. Being back on your diet, and you're going to be pretty close to where you were. Depending on how bad your relapse was, you might notice you still feel a little bit weaker, maybe a little bit bigger, but after those 2 weeks, you're not going to look back as much because you're going to be proud that you got yourself back on track. And that is key. 2 more weeks and no one is even going to remember that you had that little hiccup. And if they do, they're going to be proud of you all over again because it's normal. It's normal to go through those experiences. Right now, I'm probably 15 pounds more than I want to be, but I've owned up to it. I've taken responsibility and I've acknowledged that I got off track. And that ownership is what's important if you ever want to get back on track. Yes, going back into the gym, having the idea that you're 15 pounds heavier sucks, but no one's going to fixate on that. You are going to fixate on yourself way more than anybody else is. So don't let that cripple your process. Don't let those little relapses in life and in your journey steer you from what you know you want. You know, you've already made it this far. Why can a little hiccup derail you from your entire track? It's really important to acknowledge and own up to what you've done. Nobody else made you fat. Nobody else made you relapse. There might have been life events that occurred that maybe made you feel depressed or made you want to eat or maybe made you not want to go to the gym anymore or maybe you got busy. Whatever it is, ultimately it was your decision and there are always things that you could have done to have prevented that. Don't get sad about that. Own up to it and realize that because of that, that means you have the ability to take control again. You did it once, now do it again. Remember guys, it's normal. Don't feel bad. Just own up to it and take control. Beat your weight loss relapse.